Hi, it's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 119. Today we're going to talk about what's the difference between a bass's head voice and a tenor's head voice. So, hi everybody. We're just in the pre-show show. We've got about a minute to go here before we begin the show. So, uh, thanks for joining me today. Um, I believe that I made this public, so this is open to anyone who is interested in this topic. Some of my broadcasts are just for my private group, Singers Impact, and but this is public and open to everyone. So I want to welcome you today. It's a wintry day here in Utah. I'm in a place called Centerville, and we have snow today. Although it's kind of flurries, but right now it's snowing. So we'll. I don't think we're going to get much in the way of accumulation, and we certainly don't have the polar vortexes that are happening all over the world, where everyone's having their pipes freeze and everything else. We're at a warm, balmy. Oh, I don't know, what was it today? A warm, balmy. It says it's 21 degrees here. I'm not sure that that's true, but that seems a little bit colder than it should be. All right, so. Ivan, hey Ivan, I'm going to answer this is part of your question today. Do you recognize it? So I got this question from Ivan here today. Rokov, nice to have you here, Ivan. And there were several questions you asked, but this was one that I thought we could address here pretty easily. So hey Paul, nice to see you today. So yeah. Exactly. Ivan, you did ask this in the comment today. Okay, so let's see here. Let me. We, let me ask you this question: when you're listening to a singer, and can you tell the difference between their head voice and whether they're basses or tenors? In other words, is a bass head voice and a tenor head voice sound the same or sound different to you? I'd be curious. Yes or no? It sounds the same, or does it sound? So I guess it would be two answers. If it sounds the same, say same. If it sounds different, then let me know. I think there's several reasons why this is happening, and we'll talk about these today. So I'm Chuck Gilmore. For those of you who have just joined, and this is Power to Sing Live number 119. We're going to talk today about what's the difference between a bass's head voice and a tenor's head voice. I think that's a really interesting question, and want to again thank Ivan for sharing that. Hey Abby, nice to have you here today. Thanks for joining. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I didn't broadcast last week. And so I'm back this week, and didn't know if everybody would forget me or not. So nice to have you here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. If you think about head voice in men, there has to be an element of genetics, because look at the head voice in women too. Not everyone's head voice sounds the same. Well, let's just say that by way of example, that a tenor and a bass and a baritone, they're all hitting the same note. They're all using the same technique. They're all in head voice, true head voice. They're not in falsetto. And they're essentially producing the note in the same way, okay? And let's say they're just singing the same word. Let's just say they're singing love, and let's pick a note that's not well. Let me see. I'm a bass. I've got a little bit of reflux going, a little scratchy down there. But that's the E. So let's just say it's an A above middle C. And if I were singing love, love, okay, and the tenor is singing love, and the baritone is singing love, but all three different people, okay, would it sound the same or not? I think there's going to be a different tonal quality, and not necessarily because of any other factor other than different head structure, different vocal cord, a different resonance chambers. There's going to be a different tonal quality because we're different people. And so if we take, I don't know that you can completely remove the that element from this equation, because it's always going to be a part of the reason for the different sound. Now, that being said, and this is all my opinion. I'm just going with some reasoning here. There may be, I'm sure there are some scientific things that will show different formants and different maybe a different vowels or a different a way that the same vowel is being pronounced, different scientific measurements that could be measured in terms of overtones in the voice, but again, that may very well be linked to genetics also. But there is this difference, okay? And that difference is the basses, the true bass, bridges in a different location. And I'm sure that's again caused by several factors. This formant and where vibration starts to split off into, you get the vibration down here in your mouth, and eventually it starts to split off up into the head. That occurs in a different location for a basso cantata or a basso profondo. I mean the real boom bop boom bop boom bop I'm up here. I can growl down there, but I can't sing down there. The basso profondo that can just, has this real deep, very large sound down below. And someone like myself that's, I think, barely a cantata. A little scratchy. We bridge in a different place than a baritone whose low note may be only A flat or the G. These are all, this is a G2, A flat 2, and then the tenor that's maybe just barely to the A or the B flat. So their voice bridges different place. So let's talk about why is that a factor? If you bridge, let me see. What if I could just show this to you? Never done that before. What if I took this camera off and pointed it down here at the piano? Huh? How's that for high anxiety? Okay, so I'm looking at my it's kind of hard for me to reach and let me just see if I can get a little bit more. All right, so here is middle C. The baritones bridge and the basses, the baritone and tenor bridges E, F, F sharp. This is the beginning of their bridge. the and the pretty well established head voice begins for the men at the G above middle C. So this is E4, F sharp 4, G4. However, the basses, the true bass, the basso cantata, the basso profundo, the real deep voice, they bridge at the, this is middle C, they bridge here at the A below middle C, the A3, B flat, B, C, pretty much the C sharp, they're all the way through. Then they have a D and an E flat, and then at the E, which was the tenor and the baritone's first bridge, the E begins their second bridge. So the bass that bridges here, is the beginning of their second. And then they hit a G, and that's their head voice also. So what is this second bridge? What is the, this D, E flat, what's that? And if this is the top of their first bridge, then they've still got this one to go. So approach the second bridge, approach the second bridge, and then the second bridge for the basso cantata, the basso profundo. But for the tenor, this is their first bridge, first note in the first bridge, the E, F sharp above middle C. So the basso cantata has this area here for the first bridge. Then they've got this note and this note, this one, this one, this one, before they hit head voice. So what does that mean? All right, so let me hang this back up here. Hopefully that didn't make you seasick. We want to thank the Logitech company for providing the flexibility to do that. So now, here's an interesting thought. The women, the soprano, and many of the altos, and I should say the sopranos, the mezzo sopranos, and a lot of ladies who say they're altos, they bridge at an octave higher than the basso cantata. So they bridge at the A above middle C. And they have the same number of notes that they have to sing before they hit the second bridge, which is the E above high C. And then their head voice begins at the G5. The men's head voice begins at the G4. And so the women have that extra bridge in there before they hit their head voice note, which is the G5. So to simplify this a little bit more, the basses have more notes to sing before they get into what is deemed by many as the true head voice area of their range. Okay? So do the women. So what is that area then? Are they getting into head voice earlier or not? So let me just see if I can illustrate the difference for you. Let's just say I'm going to sing. I'll show you what the. I'll start with the men's first, the bass first, the true bass first bridge, the A below middle C. Let me just, before I do that, any comments you guys have, should probably check that just to make sure before we get going here. I don't see any questions or anything like that. So let me just move on with this illustration here. Yeah, I'm not getting my little scroller to work here. Here we go. Okay, so Want to make sure you're still getting this feed and making sure the stream looks like it's solid today. Hooray. All right, so I'm going to just illustrate the bridge for the basso cantata. If I said ma 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 ma. Now that's not ma 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 ma. I'm not singing it in chest. There is a little bit of a mix occurring now at the A below middle C. If I said no 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 no, I'm gonna say no 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 no. So that's the bass first bridge. But you can hear that it's not just full chest. If I said no 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 no, I'm not mixing, I'm just belting the chest. No 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 no. That's the top of the bridge for the basso cantata. No 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 no. Well, it's starting to get, there's quite a bit of head in that. Quite a bit of the head-chest mix. Well, listen what happens then when I get into the first bridge, where for the bass, the baritone and the tenor. Now I'm already bridging. And now as a basso cantata, I'm into my second bridge, which is baritone and tenor's first bridge. No 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 no. So now I'm hitting the G, which is everyone's pretty much unqualified head voice. I mean, I think it's fairly established idea, concept that this is head voice because of the primarily the amount of overtones that drop off and the other overtones that kick in at this point in the men's voices. Now, no 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 no. Okay, so that's a basso cantata, basso profundo's voice. Now, if someone else were to illustrate this who was really the true basso profundo, which is much deeper than my voice, that would sound different. And maybe they wouldn't be able to go up to the high C. So it's very related to the tessitura of the singer, the genetics, the bone structure, the vocal cord itself, the size, shape, the thickness, the length, all of that. And I suppose the skill level makes a difference too. All right, now let's stop for a second. Let me just see if there's a question here that I can address. I pull this thing down to here. Okay, so high melody Irish. G5 is the highest I've ever been. Oh, gee, G5 is to sing, so I guess I haven't broken into head voice. No, G5 is head voice melody. That is the beginning of the head voice. So, yeah, and it's not that you're not singing in head, you're not getting head voice mixed in to your voice lower. That's just when there's essentially no more chest left. Okay, that's a really good distinction to make. We're not saying that that's only when all of the head voice that's where it actually begins. Now you're getting a mix of head and chest when you start the bridge on the A above high C, above middle C. So you're starting to mix there, and you've got chest and head mixing in. And as you ascend, there's less chest and more head. And that's that keeps happening. More and more chest is dropping off and more head is kicking in, where finally it's essentially just head voice at the G5. Same thing with the guys. Now this is a really good distinction. For the basses, when the true basso, they are starting to mix in with their head and their chest, and they're well in their way into their mix at the C sharp. There's less and less chest, more and more head going, because they've got a longer runway to travel before they get up to that G, the G4. Just like the ladies do, they have a longer runway going from their A4 up to the G5. Because all of that runway there is just more time for that mix to be occurring, more time for chest to be dropping off, and more time for head to be coming in. Now let's take a look at the baritone for a second. Okay, so there's a question by Sander, hi Sander, nice to have you here. You look an awful lot like Donald Trump. What's your lowest chest note and purest or highest pure chest note? Okay, so for us gentlemen, for the basso profundo, the basso cantata, that bridge at the A, their last full chest note is the A flat. Ah, that's if you don't start mixing before you even get to the bridge. It's okay to start mixing head and chest below the bridge. I used to think you just waited till you hit the first note in the bridge. So for me, it would be the A. For the guys, it would be the E. For the ladies, it would be the A4. Contraltos, you also bridge where the tenors and baritones bridge. So it would be a little bit different for you. You're kind of like the basso cantata, and that is you bridge one bridge earlier than the rest of the sopranos and some of the altos. Now, so the answer to the question of what's the highest chest voice note, that depends on whether you're a bass or a tenor or a baritone. And so if you bridge at the A below middle C, then strictly speaking, just by definition, it's the A flat. That's the highest chest note. Strictly speaking, by definition for the tenors and baritones, it's E flat above middle C. Strictly speaking, by definition for the soprano and many altos, soprano and mezzos and many of the altos, it's the A flat. And that would be your last moment of chest where you would just be pure chest. I don't really recommend that. I think in many cases we want to begin the approach to the bridge by allowing some of that head to, at least by the shape of the vowel, narrowing the vowel so that you're able to begin, your bridging process. That's another topic. So what's your lowest chest note? Bottom of the piano. That's the lowest one. I can't sing it, but that's the lowest. Personally, your lowest chest note, I guess, is just where, how low can you go? And, that's where your low note is. Mine, personally, is comfortably the E. Sometimes I have a D. Just depends. Anyway, getting on with this now. Let me address the baritone and tenor bridge. So if they're starting to bridge, Here, that's the E above middle C. No, no. So maybe I would say, no, no, no. That's the E flat. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could. I mean, that's by strict definition, that's the last of the chest notes. No, 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 no. So I'm starting to get that mix coming in, and the shape of my vowel is maybe probably the primary driver for that. No, no, no. Now, if I wasn't bridging, it would sound like maybe I'd mix the first note but didn't mix the no. No, no, no. So just by getting a little ooh in that O, I get some head voice. No, 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 no. Is the F? No, 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 no. Pretty kind of some people describe it as a new room, a different place in the voice. In fairness to the high tenor, it sometimes isn't as evident to the high tenor. Paul, you might be one of these people. Paul Goings, who's with us today, he's a very high tenor voice. May not feel that G4 kick in like baritones and a lower tenor would, but by definition, G4 head voice. And so so let's compare then the tenor and the baritone, just the number of notes they have before they get to head voice. No, 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 no. Note number 4, and they're at the G. However, for the baritone, for the bass, no, 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 no. So now we're at 5. No, 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 no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They sing 10 notes, and then number 11 is the G. The baritones from their first bridge and tenors, 1, 2, 3, 4th note. So there's 10 notes of mixing of some sort before note number 11 for the bass. True basso. There's 3 notes before they hit note number 4 for the tenors and baritones before they hit the head voice. So imagine then trying to describe the difference between the bass head voice and the tenor head voice. What do you think the difference would be? It probably sounds very much like a like head voice, like just complete full head voice for the basses sooner than it does for the tenors. The tenors are still in their first bridge. The basses are into their second bridge before they hit their complete head voice. So just logically thinking, it's going to sound headier earlier for the basses than it is for the baritones and tenors. If depending on the genetics of the singer. So the basic tonal embodiment of their voice, there may be so much heft, so much weight, so much depth in the basso cantata's voice that it still may sound rather chesty, that head voice. Or maybe it's going to sound really, really heady. So it really is this mixture of genetics versus also where you bridge in terms of comparing chest and head. Taking some comments here. Melody says, so if I understand this, there's about 1 octave of chest, 1 octave of mix, and 1 octave of head. It depends again, Melody, for in some arguments, there's some argument to say that mix is everywhere. So we'll throw that into the wrench, into the machinery here. It may not be quite that defined. So, for example, men have a much larger range of. Are you talking about the female singer? So maybe for the female singer, but again, if you're a contralto, and like I had a student today, we've been working together for a couple years. Her voice, I start her down here on the D3 all the time. She's a contralto, and she can vocalize down to the B2. So for her chest voice, here's the octave from, and on some days she probably has got down to the B flat or even the A. So it depends on how, on the individual. So she would have more than an octave in her chest voice, and her and if she's going from the E, where the men bridge, E, F, F sharp. This is getting so esoteric that probably I'm losing you on this, but she might have an octave and 3 or 4 notes before she's in head voice. So she could be in some form of that mix for, over an octave. And then she may not quite have as much just pure head voice as a soprano because she's a contralto. So, it's not quite that neatly divided by thirds, unfortunately, depending on the singer. Kiko TV, hi. I listen to female singers, so I have a habit to pull my larynx up and sing breathy to sound brighter, like them, even in the 3rd octave. So everything above D4 is very hard to achieve. Any advice? Anything above D4? Yes, we want to sing. We want to sing with the larynx at a resting, at fairly low and resting, where we talk. If I talk like this, let me see. How would I? If I talk like this, just to raise my larynx a little bit, it would really tire my voice out. I'm not just raising the pitch. I'm trying to get my larynx going up higher. It's just not a favorable condition for vocalizing. What we have to learn to do, Kiko, is find where our voice wants to live in its natural condition. So we want to establish our singing from the standpoint of the speech level. That is, where does my larynx rest? Where does it stay when I'm speaking? That's the foundation upon which I want to learn to sing. I don't want to manipulate the larynx up or down when I'm singing. So you've got to establish the speech level. Where is the larynx when you speak? Or where should it be when you speak? Some people have an elevated larynx even when they talk. That's the basis from which you should sing. Sandra says, I have a problem with finding my voice type. My lowest note. Are you talking about the classification? Your voice classification, D2 to C sharp 2, and my highest is EF. If I yell, I can hit G4. People tell me I'm a bass, but I feel more like a baritone, but I can't hit the G. So Sandra, it might just be because you're not bridging. I couldn't sing above the E. And so I thought that I thought I was a bass, but I didn't realize that I could still sing higher as a bass if I learned how to bridge. So it sounds to me like you're a bass or maybe baritone, although maybe like me, you've got some, like a basso cantata is a bass with some tenor notes. And so, but you've got to learn how to bridge. And that has to do with finding your vocal type, whether you're pull chest high larynx or flip falsetto or light chest, no chest, vocal type. So in the description below on this video, there's a PDF to download that will help you get your vocal type, okay? It'll take you to a test. You can take the test, you'll get your vocal type, and then you can get exercises that are going to help you to learn how to bridge. And that way that you can sing from the, and it's not by yelling either. That's not yelling, and I'm not in falsetto. That's head voice. So you just haven't learned to get in your head yet. And that happens by finding out your vocal type. So get the vocal test PDF down below in the description below this video. And then you can get that opened up, because once you learn how to bridge, you can go right through that E, F, F sharp up to your head voice. Okay, so Ink asks, since I break on the F sharp F4, does it mean I'm automatically a tenor, or can I be a baritone that breaks on the F4? The tenors and the baritones may find that they do bridge in the same place, and so it's likely that you could be either or. It's probably more accurate to find out where your lower register is, Ink. And there's also some color issues, the tessitura, the tone color, the heft in the bottom of your voice, and so forth. I've heard you sing, and I think you're a tenor. Peter Dacius says, but Bruno Mars can sing the C5. Okay, yeah, C5. And I think he does a lot higher than that too. He might probably the C6 once in a while. Sorba, I'm a contralto, low female, range about that of a baritone. Yeah, Sorba. So exactly, you're. But the nice thing about the contraltos is they not only have these low notes, which are awesome, but they oftentimes can get up. I mean, as I was talking to my student this morning, her top note right now is about the B flat 5. She can vocalize up there, and she definitely has the high A 5. So she's got as a contralto, she's got almost 3 octaves, and on a good day, she has 3 octaves. I mean, on a day where she's really got the bottom and the top is there too. So some of the contraltos are like just amazing voices. Oh, I'm late. This is an interesting topic. Okay, nice to have you here. Audiophile. Okay. Yeah, so she's just like you, Sorba. Melody Iris asks or says, my lowest is an E3. I used to think I was contralto, but now I can think differently. Yeah, so Melody, I would say you're probably you have lower. You've got a few lower notes there, but I think some of the mezzo sopranos can sing that E3 pretty nicely, pretty easily. I used to think I was contralto, so just trying to understand the changes in my own range. I've been there. I used to think for a long time after I learned this technique that I was some kind of tenor. But Seth Riggs helped me understand that I was basso cantata, and it's really been wonderful because I'm now working my voice on my lower bridge, and it just has made a real difference. The quack says, so Peter says, my larynx is high. Well, Peter, we can help you. I can help you. LeQuack. Hey, Chuck, I practice to keep my larynx at its default position. Sometimes it gets high, but even when it is not, I can't find the resonance in my head. I can't find the resonance in my head. What should I do? A really good exercise to detect when the larynx is going up is this one. If you said goo 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 goo, you hear how that kind of goes a little bit hooty or hollow. Goo. It's like a hoot owl. Hoo hoo. Now I'm not in falsetto. Hoo hoo hoo. I'm not disconnected. Hoo. I'm just ooh. It's a connected tone. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Now, if I lose that for some reason and say goo 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 goo, larynx is going up. Goo 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 goo. Now I might be getting some head voice there, but it's really pinched and it's not open and free. It's not relaxed, and the larynx is high. But you can hear it. Goo 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 goo. Or you could try it this way. Gee 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 gee. You can hear the larynx when it goes up. It goes really thin and squeezed. And when the larynx drops, you have some minutes more fullness in the voice. More overtones kick in. Doing those two exercises can help you monitor if the larynx is coming up. My guess is your larynx is going up, LeQuack, and as it does, it starts to pinching off the resonance. Because if the larynx goes up, you know, it just cuts everything off. I felt the resonance a few times, but it had no weight of chest voice. Yeah, in your head voice, there should be no weight of chest voice. After a few seconds, it broke into falsetto. So if I said goo 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 goo, that's my head voice. If I said goo 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 goo, it's probably head voice, but it's pinched and the larynx is really high. And it's not necessarily a great sound. So that goo 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 is a great way to monitor yourself. And it's probably just the larynx coming up. Even though we don't think it is, it inches its way up. Ink says, when you found you were a bass, did you get depressed? It bothered me, Ink. That's an interesting question. Because, see, all my life I'd been told I was a bass because I couldn't sing above the E. When I learned to sing F, F sharp, G, A flat, I did one show where I did the high C. You know, I just thought, yes, I'm a tenor. I knew at least I was a baritone, but I was singing, you know, maybe a baritone singing tenor notes, you know, those kinds of things. But here's the thing, and this is what Mr. Riggs said to me: just because you can doesn't mean you should. Also, Mr. Enriquez told me that too. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And what Seth said to me was, and I said I sang a high B. I sang a high B flat once on a song, and he said, "You notice your vibrato slowed." So I could hit the B flat. Let me see. It was on a. Oh, or, let me see. So I was singing something from Carousel, Billy Bigelow's soliloquy, and John Raitt takes a B flat, and so I was trying that, and it's written as "or die," but I think he said, "Or." Let me see, how did he do it? Or, la, la. Or die. He's saying that. Or die. It's like, yeah, it's this great note. But Seth could hear my vibrato slowing. And so just because I could do it didn't mean that that's the best place for my voice personally. And that was before, like a year or two later when I was working with him one-on-one, and he'd worked my voice a couple times, and he finally said, you know what, because he could hear the bottom of my voice. And he's a tenor, and he can't get that heft, that beefiness in the bottom. He said, you know what? He said, I believe that you're a basso cantata. We need to start working your voice at the lower bridge. And it depressed me at first because I was so thrilled about being able to be do tenor notes and things, but he was right, and my voice has felt better and done better in this by bridging where all the basses, the basso cantato, the cantata, the basso profundo, where they bridge, and it's allowed my voice to improve versus trying to push my voice up where I could vocalize there, but it wasn't where my voice, I don't know how to describe that, kind of flourishes a little bit, maybe I should say. So that's pretty good questioning. Yeah, it's if you're singing a lot of pop, it seems like all the fun songs are really high, and so I've got a friend. I'm not sure where Ben lives, and he's in Hong Kong or Singapore, or I can't remember, Thailand, or anyway. He was kind of his voice is very similar to mine, and he does a lot of pop, and he just commented to me one day, just give me a list of songs and singers who are basses like us that sing pop. And there were fewer. It just seemed like there was much fewer. Everything that's so impressive is always high, really, really way up there. A lot of that is in the pop genre. For me, I'm musical theater. Doesn't matter. In a way, I can do both, and I can get away with doing tenors. But I have to say that I find a lot. I love singing the bass songs. Hi, Nuno. Nice to have you here. I watch your videos and I've been learning, and now my highest note is without whistle is E6. Wow, awesome, cool, fantastic. Is it possible to go higher without whistle? Higher than an E6? Nuno, are you female? I'm not sure about Nuno, if that's guy or girl, but E6, there's a lot of ladies who would die, would kill to be at E6. So, you can squeak out. I just don't know. I can't answer that question not knowing your voice. Sorba, I'm getting up there, but I have a bit of trouble in the 5 sharp S. In the 5s, I see. Download your document from the description after. Wonderful, thanks. You're welcome, Sorba. Most of the time, you guys, when we have trouble in our upper ranges, the difficulty is that the first bridge is for some reason not we're not doing it quite right. We're still getting too much chest, too much pull, too much reach in your first bridge. So I would say before you worry too much about, if something's not working in the 5 areas, Sorba, I would definitely go back and address the first bridge of your voice. And you say you're a contralto, so I would get back down here and focus on the E, F, F sharp above middle C, and start working on bridging in that. Now, Sorba, if you are truly contralto, you will probably find that the exercises for the men that I give the men for the like pulled chest, high larynx, vocal type, are going to be more suited for your contralto voice. Okay, keep that in mind, because I don't have a separate contralto course of exercises. You would do the men, the tenors, and I don't have the basso cantata either. So you would do the first bridge for the tenors and the baritones, the men's. Okay, the quack. Okay, I understand now. Thanks a lot. Great. Did Seth ever talk to you about Michael Jackson? Tell you things about what he was like in person? Yeah, he shared some things. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He even has one of his black hats, and it's really neat. Can you explain the vowel modifications and how we use them? Visible. Yeah, let me save you some time, Visible, and you can go to powertosing.com. In the menu, there's a search icon, a little spyglass. Go in there and search vowel modification, and then what you're looking for is Vowel Hacks. Go to the video entitled Vowel Hacks, something about Vowel Hacks, and then inside that one you can download a cheat sheet. Okay, you can download a cheat sheet that will give you a formula, and the formula basically is if it's an open vowel, like let's just say it's an ah, and instead of saying ah, we say ah to ah, and so this cheat sheet will show you if it's an ah, it shows you to narrow it to If it's an that's giving you a problem, it'll have you narrow it to like good and if it's giving you a problem, then it'll narrow it down to oo, and so forth. So it'll give you these formulas for taking the open vowel and what the next closed vowel would be, and it will help you. It'll help you with that. So the cheat sheet is inside the video, and all you have to do is search, enter vowel modification in the search icon on powertosing.com, and you'll find it. Just scroll down and you'll see a button, big red button. You click on that, and that'll give you you can download the free PDF on that. That's the fastest way to do that. Okay. Yes, I understand totally what you say here. Okay, thanks, Sorba. Great, awesome. We're going to have to wrap up here, guys. Almost at an hour here. Noah says, hi, I got here late. Hope you didn't miss much. Noah. You know what, Noah? You've pretty much missed it, but this will be available in about 5 or 10 minutes, so you can watch the whole thing. And I think there's been some good stuff here. I'm a bass. B1, way down there, man. D5, awesome, way to go. When I get into head voice, it's very breathy. How can I keep a tighter sound without breaking into falsetto? So Noah, it usually has to do with the larynx. If the larynx stays down, then you can get up there and get a bigger sound without falsetto. So if I go up to that, here's the D5. Ma 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 It's because the larynx is down. I'm keeping the larynx down. I'm not reaching up for it. Ma, 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 ma. So, and the only way I can say is you got to make sure that your first bridge is intact, and so you're transitioning from your chest into your head to the bridge appropriately. So again, I'll just say go down in the description below, in the description of this video, and it says PDF, get your vocal type. Download that PDF to get your vocal type. Take the test, and then you'll find out whether you're pulled chest, high larynx, or one of 4 vocal types, and then do the exercises for your vocal type. And that's going to help get the larynx down and help you get up to the into your head voice with a fuller, bigger sound over time. It's not an easy thing to do, but that's the key, is keep that larynx down. Otherwise, you can yell it up there, but that's short term. That's a short term fix. Melody says, Sorba, I started using the men's exercises first. It was very helpful. Good. Thanks, Melody. Awesome. That's great advice. And that's very helpful. All right, you guys. Hey, this has been fun. And thank you for joining me today. I hope this kind of has explained the difference between the bass head voice and the tenor's head voice. The basses just have more of a runway to travel before they hit their head voice, and so it's going to sound like they're getting into head sooner, but there's still some of that mix going until they hit that G4. And for the tenors and baritones, it's just a shorter runway to make that transition through the bridge to their head voice. Plus, there's the genetics involved too. So it's going to be sounding different depending on the heft in the voice, the basic tessitura of the voice, and all the other things about the genetics that impact that. The vibration structure, the size of the chords, and ladies, same exact thing. Precisely the same exact thing. It's going to sound different from person to person, and depending on whether they're contralto or whether they're a soprano, it's going to vary on the same principles as the men. Okay, you guys, thank you very much. This is Chuck Gilmore with Purest Live number 119. I appreciate you joining me today, and we're going to call it a day. Thanks for joining me. See you same time, same channel next week. Thanks. Bye-bye. Yes, stop streaming.